Welcome to Season 2, aka Semester 2, of my dental hygiene school experience. I am Dax Scott, and I will be sharing my experience of dental hygiene school. Semester 2 is stepping it up, so let's put on our seatbelt and let's go. What's up, dental nerds? This is Dax Scott, and welcome to Season 2 of my dental hygiene school experience. You may have noticed that I have been kind of quiet the past couple weeks, and that is because I've been on break. And it turns out when you have nothing to do, you kind of don't want to do anything. Anyway, let me just go through my experience. So I've been quiet for the past 2 weeks because I've been on break, like I said. I went from not having a moment to myself to all of a sudden having nothing to do. It's quite a strange feeling, but I adapted very quickly. Probably only took me about 2 days. I had high hopes of being very productive and doing so many things I had put off until I had some time. Well, I didn't do any of that. I think the most productive thing was I watched some movies and binge watched a few TV shows. But yes, I feel like it took me, 2 days to kind of feel rested up and like a whole week to really recover from finals and all that stuff. But after 2 weeks of being off school, I am so well rested. That's a lie, I'm not. I had high hopes of being rested up and, going to bed early and waking up, refreshed. I stayed up late pretty much every night, and when you have no schedule, there's no reason to go to bed early because you don't have to get up early. So the transition back to school has been pretty rough because my schedule is very different from last semester. But I'll get into that in just a minute here. But also having to deal with traffic again. I mean, I commute to an hour and a half to 2 hours every day, and it's quite a different experience. Well, let me start off by saying I have to be at school at 8 a.m., so I'm commuting much earlier, and so the traffic patterns are different. Everything's different, really. And then also because it's getting later in the year, the sun isn't even up yet. The sun doesn't actually come up until I'm almost at school, or no, I'm already at school when it's starting to get light, like it's not even sunrise yet. So, yeah, it's a different experience overall. But the good news is, if I arrive when I'm supposed to, I get a parking spot. I know it's quite a hot topic for me about finding a hot spot, or not a hot spot, finding a parking spot. Anyway, but let me tell you about some of the traffic experience I've had so far in the first week. So one day there was some heavy traffic, and it's dark out and there's just tons of cars and everyone's just suffering and dealing with it. We just do what we do. Well, one motorcyclist decided that driving on the shoulder would be a great idea. And of course, when I see this, I'm not fully awake. I think I had some coffee or something to kind of wake me up. But, you kind of look over and you see this motorcycle drive by and it's like, really? So I hate it when people do whatever they want and get away with it. But as soon as I looked over, saw the motorcycle drive by, all of a sudden, this vehicle lit up with red and blue lights. Obviously some sort of law enforcement vehicle. And they pulled out of traffic onto the shoulder to stop this motorcycle. Let me just say I felt a definite sense of justice. Yes, that was a good feeling. Anyway, so I remember last semester, Mondays were not as busy as Wednesdays. And let's see, on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, I have to be there at 8 a.m. So, experiencing more of the traffic patterns, Monday by far is a lot less busy than any other day of the week, I'd say. even Friday, because Friday some people are going on vacation and they're leaving early, but they caught in rush hour traffic. Um, anyway, let me see. I'm just looking at my notes here, but yeah. So I had to be at school at 8 a.m. I haven't been up that early in quite a while, and I was so worried I'd oversleep that I actually woke up at 4 a.m. Just my body waking up, and I'm not a morning person, so that shows you how worried I was going to oversleep. So when I woke up at 4 a.m., I double checked my phone to make sure my 5 a.m. alarm was set, not 5 p.m., because I've done that in the past, and I feel like you can never check your phone too many times. But since I was awake, I wasn't able to fall back asleep. And I always try and leave 2.5 hours before my first class to leave myself a very big buffer. The hope is I get to school early, and if there's traffic, there's a buffer built in. Aside from the motorcycle incident, I cannot talk this morning. The traffic wasn't too bad. It wasn't great, but it was tolerable, you know. And let me tell you quickly about the classes that I'm taking. I'll talk more about it next time. But we have preclinical dental hygiene, and that's basically an in-class. We're in the classroom for that class, and we learn about practical things. So we are talking about positioning the chair where you are in relationship or in relation to the patient, and to what area we're working on in the mouth. So, like if you're looking at someone's upper teeth, then you're going to be more on the side. So we would call it the 9 o'clock position if you're right-handed, or the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock position. Yeah, so we're learning stuff like that, and it's kind of fun because suddenly we're learning stuff that's going to be stuff we're going to be using every day as a dental hygienist. Another class we also have is sociology. So that class is online only. I know the program director says that they've had a really tough time with the schedule this semester. There's just a lot of plates spinning, a lot of balls to juggle. So, yeah, so our schedule's a little weird. So we have sociology on Thursdays and Fridays from 4 to 5. And it's a very strange time slot. And I also feel that a 1 hour class online, it's kind of hard to get into it. And then once you're in it, it's almost done. And then you have to start over again. It'd be nice if it was a 2 hour block, but I guess for the instructor, it doesn't really work out. And we also learned in sociology about our project that we're coming up, or that is coming up. And we have to choose a culture that is not our own, or is it a culture? Well, a cuisine, let's say, that is not our own. So something you did not grow up with, something that is not a part of your heritage, and you try that. And so we're doing this in pairs. You don't have in the pairs because we all live in different areas. We don't have to have the meal together, but we have to have the same cuisine. So my partner and me, we are choosing Greek food, which I think is awesome. And then we write a paper about it. And we also have to learn a word in that language. And I think it'll be a very fun experience. And I kind of want to get it out of the way now because it seems like it's relatively easy. And I'm sure it's going to be a bigger part of our grade because it's not like filling out or like answering questions for an assignment. So it'll be fun. It'll be something that we can knock out real quick, and it's not due. I want to say till November. I have to look at the due date, but anyway, something I'm looking forward to. Um, we also have so there's pre-clinical dental hygiene, but then there's another aspect to that class where we're actually in the clinic. Now, this is where I'm really excited because we get to start working with things. We're actually in the clinic, so it's not open to the public during that time, so we can work on our skills. And I think, yeah, this is probably going to be my favorite class. We have a really good instructor, and actually, in this class, we have multiple instructors. Our class can have up to 19 people. And because of how hands-on this is. They want to have a smaller ratio, so student to instructor. So it's more like 5 students to an instructor. So that's really nice because that way, if you're needing the teacher to check something, you don't have to wait for 17 more people to have their stuff looked at before you get your turn. So the first week we're just kind of like, for all the classes, we're just kind of talking about how we're going to learn about different things and kind of what we're going to go over. So it's not so much hands-on quite yet. And yeah. So anyway, another class we have is chemistry. Now I was like, okay, that chemistry, it sounds like it's just a general course. It sounds like it won't be too intense. Well, our instructor said that we're going over different aspects of chemistry. So it's not like high school chemistry where you get a very basic understanding. This is going to go a little deeper. I've heard that when I've talked to anybody that's taken organic chemistry, that is basically what makes or breaks people. So even in medical school, in if you're becoming a doctor or a dentist or anything where you have doctor in your title as like in the medical field. And so I was a little worried about that. And our instructor says we will be touching on organic chemistry as well as nuclear chemistry, which I'd never heard of before. And when I heard that, it kind of freaked out a little bit, not going to lie. But our instructor also offers tutoring. So that is going to be something I will be taking advantage of because the first week isn't too bad, but it's going to be a lot more. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take advantage of that so I don't get lost in all the information. And let's see, I want to see what other classes I have because there's a few more. We have medical emergencies, which is actually another very relevant course because obviously we're dealing with people's medical information and in a medical setting. And obviously, if something happens, because it can happen, you don't want to, you want to be able to handle the situation more so. And it's quite common in medical settings. Even when I was a dental assistant, you had to know CPR. This is just going to be a bit more involved. Another class that I'm doing is radiology. So taking x-rays. And I'm kind of excited about this because I've already taken x-rays. We are using a different system, however. Where I used to work at, there were digital x-rays. And super easy, you take the picture, it shows up on the screen right away. With this one, my school, they have a few digital sensors, but they mostly use what's called phosphorus plates. And so ScanX is a very popular brand. And we'll be using that for the most part. And so it's a few more steps, but it's something that's it's doable. I just won't get as quick feedback. And also because I have experience in taking radiographs, I'm hoping I'll do well in this class. And let's see, I think the last class that I've not mentioned yet is head and neck anatomy. Now, last semester I took overall general anatomy, and I also took dental anatomy. So there's going to be a lot of crossover. I'm hoping there will be a lot of review, and it won't be as intense as learning everything from very brand new, like not learning or not knowing anything at all. So I think the teacher, she seems kind of intense, but I think that she'll be very helpful in explaining things. She seems to be a very clear communicator, so I'm hoping that I'll do well in that class. Quick tip for those who are taking any kind of anatomy course. At least for me, what worked was taking Quizlet, so I just made Quizlet questions. And I had a picture, and with the picture I did A, B, C, D, whatever. And so I said, which one is, like, if I said, where is the hyoid bone? Then you'd be like, oh, that's whatever letter it is. And so I did that for parts of the ear, and I mean, there was only 7, but I feel like not knowing that before, I learned that stuff pretty quick. I'm saying in like 10 minutes, and it's still stuck in my mind. So we have the oralis, the tragus, the antitragus, the intertragic notch, the external acoustic medius, and I think I'm missing one. Oh, and the helix. I don't know if that was 7, but anyway, that was just what was off the top of my head. So, and not bad for first thing in the morning because it's not super early, but I didn't have to go in for 8 a.m. today. Anyway, so that's just kind of a quick overview of my semester. This is what I have to look forward to. It's going to be a lot more intense just because I have those early mornings, Monday and Tuesday. So Monday it starts at 8 a.m. We don't get to leave till 5. And so that means I have to arrive early, and I don't get to leave till late. So that makes the day very exhausting, and then I have to wake up and do it all over again. However, on Tuesdays, I get to leave earlier. And yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but at least on Fridays, I get to leave at noon. And yeah, so I get to miss all the rush hour traffic. Anyway, that's all for this week. And I look forward to sharing more with you. And have a great day. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast. I appreciate your support on this journey, and until next time, I'm Dax Ska.